Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hi everybody, it's Tim Van Orden, and today I want to talk about goals. Or more specifically, I want to ask you a question. What is the goal of your goal? Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why do I have this goal? Is it to fix something? Is it to change something? Is it to accomplish something? Is it to feel something or believe something? Why do you have your goals? To help answer this question, I'm going to break goals down into three types. Goals that make us feel good, goals that give us direction or motivation or purpose, and goals that are about accomplishing something. And we engage in these three different types of goals for very different reasons. If we're just looking to feel good, we don't need to get anything done. Setting the goal itself will change something. I want to feel good imagining myself accomplishing that goal. And therefore, the goal of that goal is just to feel good. And I think this is where a lot of people get stuck, is they set goals to feel good, thinking or believing that they actually wanted to accomplish the thing in the goal. But they didn't. They just needed to feel good in that moment, which is why they're not taking action, because the goal was accomplished. I now feel good. So this is where people set themselves up to fail if they think they have an actual dietary goal or an actual fitness goal, but all they were really doing is trying to get themselves to feel good in the moment. This is going to lead to challenge later on, especially if they were vocal and talked to other people about it or wrote it down, because they weren't present to why they set the goal in the first place. It was just to feel good. But now if you've got a public acknowledgement or obligation out there, you're like, oh crap, now I have to follow through on this? Ugh, I really don't want to. Because that wasn't the goal of the goal. And now that you're feeling bad, well, I need to set some new goal or medicate myself in some other way to feel good again. So this type of goal is a form of self-soothing or medication. The next type of goal, which is a directional or motivational goal, isn't so much about feeling good, but it's simply about knowing where you're going. Okay, I want to do something, I just don't know what it is yet. So I need to find a thing, a process, a project, something that I can plug myself into so I know who to be, because I'm really not sure what I'm up to. I'm not sure what my identity is anymore. So I need this thing to define me. This goal that's outside of me, and it's going to give me structure. It's going to give me some constraints that I can then funnel through. So these directional goals are about reducing confusion by limiting what you are focused on in your world, limiting what you're attending to. So they can be useful in reducing the set of information that you're processing, but at the same time, you may not be inspired to actually move in that direction. You simply have a direction now. Once you engage in the process, you may find out, ooh, I don't really like this, but I'm kind of committed to it. I bought all the gear, I bought the membership to the gym or whatever, I committed to this group, now I gotta go, but So before I get into this third type of goal, those about actually taking steps, I want to look at these three types of goals again, but this time through a different lens. So we've got our feel-good goals, and they're really about finish lines. Like there's the final product right there. That's me at the finish line. This is what I get. This is what it looks like. This is what the applause is going to sound like. This is what I'm going to do with all the money, etc. Whatever it is that you're fantasizing, it's a finish line. You're not seeing the process. You're not seeing the journey. You're just seeing you standing there accepting your award. The next type of goal, directional, is not about finish lines. It's about a series of actions that leads in a particular direction. So you see a trajectory, you see a progression, you see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and eventually maybe there's a finish line, but it's more about the direction that you're moving in. So you see a series of actions that need to be taken. And in a lot of self-help and business success books, this is the type of goal they're going to be talking about. Not so much about the big dream or the finish line, but much more about, okay, here's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here you are in a week. Here you are in a month. Here you are in a year. Here you are in 5 years. And you create these different plans along this linear path. By contrast, the third type of goal, which is about getting things done, doesn't look at a finish line, doesn't really care about the finish line, and isn't so much interested in a trajectory or a path. This type of goal is simply about movement. That's it. So we don't care where it leads us to. We simply want to be moving because we know that if we move, if we engage, if we interact with, there's a possibility that something will shift. There's the possibility that we can get to another step. We don't know what it is, but as long as we're in a certain arena, there's a good chance that that step is going to benefit us at some point. We just don't know how yet. So for instance, me making this video, I had a very, very general idea of what I wanted to talk about because I was dealing with it in my own life as I clean my studio and get rid of a ton of stuff that's really useful. So I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So rather than trying to figure it out in advance and plan the trajectory or plan the path, I simply walk up to an object, I touch it, I interact with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I move towards it and then I move it. And in the process of moving myself and moving the object, there's a really good chance that I'm going to come to a conclusion as to what to do with it. But if I'm not moving my body and if I'm not moving the object, that's very unlikely to happen. I will just stare at a big pile, not knowing what to do next because I don't see the path because it's too confusing, it's too overwhelming. So the goal is simply movement. And this is how I deal with anything that's really overwhelming me. I look at it, I'm like, I don't know what to do. That's fine. You don't need to know what to do. Just move. Get up, move, touch, interact, process, shift. Play with it until something clicks, because something will. But if you're sitting and thinking and simulating what the next step might be or what the path might look like, you're never going to get anywhere because you haven't taken action yet. You don't know what's going to happen when you interact with that object. You don't know how you're going to feel when you start moving. And this is something that I've learned from exercise. I can wake up with no interest in movement or running at all, but I know that if I simply move towards clothing, move towards my car, maybe move towards some food, move towards a trail, move on the trail a little bit, something will shift. Always. It's never failed me. And then suddenly I'm running. But I have no idea what it's going to look like when I start. There are times when those directional goals work really well for me, but only when I'm not overwhelmed. I've completely done away with the big finish line goals in my life, the feel-good goals, because I see where they lead me. Nowhere. So I don't see any use whatsoever in these feel-good goals if you actually want to change something in your life. It's like taking a drug that eventually wears off. You feel good, then you wake up the next day back in your life with a day wasted. So forget about the finish line goals, forget about the feel-good goals, because if you actually engage yourself, if you actually use this third type of goal, the goal towards movement, you're going to feel good. You're actually going to shift your physiology rather than just shift what it is that you're simulating. I'm simulating negativity. Ooh, now I'm simulating positivity as I imagine myself winning an Olympic medal. All you've done is shift the simulation. You haven't shifted anything else. You haven't shifted your physical life. You haven't interacted with any real things. And when you do, you'll discover that you feel good. Maybe not immediately, but I'm in motion, I'm moving, I'm in motion, I'm moving, I'm in motion, I'm moving. And then eventually I look and it's like, I cleaned my studio. Holy cow, I didn't even have a plan for that. But it happened. And now that my studio is cleaned, I feel really good. So when you set goals, I want you to think about this. Do you just want to feel good? Do you want direction? Or do you want to get something done? So let me know in the comments below what you think. Where do you get stuck? Where are you challenged when it comes to goal setting and getting into action? And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more of this content, subscribe to my channel. And as always, if you want to keep this conversation going, come on over to Patreon. It's $1 or $2 a month. That's it. And you keep me in this game. And I greatly appreciate it. All right, I'll see you soon.